Hi, welcome to Talk Back Live, a show that gets you involved in live conversation and sports with Brian Camp on Sports Update, bringing you the latest developments in today's world of sports. And now here's your host, Frank Allan.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and a pleasant night to each and every one of you in your different time zones all around the world and across the country. Hi, everybody. My name is Frank Allan, and welcome to another edition of Talk Back Live, a show that we come to you each week. We're coming to you live directly from New York City. That's where we generate, or that's where we originate, I would say. But we generate the show to you all around the world. We thank you so much for being along with us. Those of you who are brand new to the show, welcome aboard for the very first time. And we thank you for being with us, but don't make it your last time. Come back again and again. Stick around because you may enjoy it. Now, for those of you who watch us on a regular basis, you're watching us and you can tell your friends about it. You already know the protocol. So if you're watching us, we're coming from 3 different places. We're coming to you live on Facebook, we're on YouTube, and live on Instagram as well. And of course, we're all around the world, no matter where you go. You could be anywhere around the world and we're right there with you. And for those of you who are watching us on Facebook, you know what you can do? You can tag this very show right now, and do it right now because we're just getting started. When we get into the meat of the show, everybody will be here. Tag this show to all of your friends and let them get a chance to experience what you experience each week. And once you tag them, they'll see that notification and they'll pop right up. They'll see you out there. They'll see others. You can talk to me and you can talk to others who may come in. And those of you who are watching us on YouTube, click on there and click onto our subscription number, that subscription button right there. Subscribe to us, because when you do that, that will give you carte blanche to be part of this show. And what you can do is that each week when we come on, if we come on live, you get a notification. If we post something like a video or something, you'll get a notification and you can go exactly right to the website right there. And that's it. And for those of you who are watching us on Instagram, thank you so much for being along with us. All you have to do is follow us each week and you'll get a chance to enjoy all of the show as well. I want to say hi to all of you people who are sitting idle. You know, a lot of people like to be part of the conversation, and that's what the show is all about. We want to make everyone part of the conversation. As the host of the show, I throw out the initial topic, whatever that may be, and then at any time you can chime in, type it in. I'll see you right there on the big screen. I will entertain all of your thoughts and ideas, and just let's have a conversation with each other. And you can talk about anything you like, and we will entertain it for you. And so that'll give you a chance to do all of that. So we thank you so much for being along with us. It's a Thursday, as I said. It's Thursday here in New York City, and we're just about ready for another weekend, right? And I just want to say this, that all of the comments, suggestions, everything that we say here, our thoughts, our comments and thoughts on this program, the view and the opinions on this program does not necessarily reflect the view or the opinions of Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Zoom, or any broadcast facility that we're on. Okay, so there you have it. So we take care of everything. We're responsible for everything here. So as I said, we're coming up to another weekend. We have one more day to contend with. You've got to go back to the grind tomorrow morning if you're not into your Friday mode yet. Some of you are into Friday, and some of you are working right now, wherever you are around the world. But for those of you who may be in my time zone, or maybe in the Eastern time zone, the Central, Pacific, Mountain time zone, you know, your Friday is coming up pretty soon. And then once you get back on Friday, we got the weekend coming up, you know, so, and everybody's looking forward to that. It just doesn't even seem that long. It just only seemed like we were here yesterday, but the week goes by so fast. I mean, at least mine did. And I guess it depends on what you do with the week to make it go as quick as it does. And you could be very busy, which I'm always going at it. You know, maybe I should slow down a bit, because now I'm getting older, and the faster the day goes, the older I get, the faster and the older I get. But we all get older, right? That's the way it is. But anyway, thank you so much for being along with us. And I must mention that this is the first day of Hispanic Heritage Month. Hispanic Heritage Month, which is going to be a lot of things. I imagine there's going to be a lot of things going on, a lot of street fairs, because the summer is just about over. We still have nice weather going along with us, and you could use what's left of this good weather to do anything you want. And this is for the entire month. And so with that, along with the celebration, you have, of course, street fairs, I believe, and then a lot of things happening with all of the food vendors and all of that, great music. And then, of course, the museums. I'm pretty sure there are places where you can go to check out the heritage of Hispanics. And of course, you don't have to be Hispanic to be involved, because I do it all the time. You know, like when they have Italian street fairs, I go there. I'm an Italian there. And when I go to street fairs for Hispanic Heritage Month, I'm a Hispanic. And I just celebrate them all, you know, I just celebrate them all because they're all festive. But anyway, that's what we're celebrating. And this is the first day, the 15th. And this is the first day of it. So if you want to talk about that, you want to have some input, maybe you have some kind of affair that's going on, or maybe that happened today that you want to talk about, or maybe in a few weeks, because you have all month long to celebrate. And maybe you can give us some information, because we would love that information to find out where the events are taking place in your area. So if you're in a certain part of the area, let's say, for instance, if you're in California and you would like to give us information on what's going on there, we could convey all of that stuff. That's what we do here. So that's how it goes. But we thank you so much for being along with us, and just stay with us, because like I said, we've got a fun show coming up. Now we do the normal things here. Now the normal thing that we do, and we never leave it out, is that not too far away in the show, just minutes away from the show right now, Brian Camp will be here with the latest developments in today's world of sports. The name of the show is called Sports Update. We link up with him from Charlotte, North Carolina. He will be here and he'll bring you that information that's coming up next. And pretty soon in the show, we'll also give you what we call the day in history. This day in history, we have a lot of information on what happened, the events that happened on this day in history. We'll have that for you. And then later on in the program, as we always do before the show is over, we give you the picks of the week, my picks of the week for the weekend for Turner Classic Movies, the movies that you all love. So those are the great classic movies. I think I have one, I don't know, I'll have to check it out. But any event, I do have them. And that's coming up. We'll let you know, because we want to add to your bucket list of things to do and movies to watch. If you want to catch up on some movies this weekend, it's a good time to do it. Anytime is a good time to do it. We'll have our picks for this weekend for you, and that's coming on, and we look forward to that. So there you have it. There you have it. And just in case you're just joining us at this very, very moment, it's 8 minutes past the hour right now. It's Talk Back Live. That's the name of the show, and we're going to be with you for a whole full hour. So what about you guys on Facebook? Did you tag your friends yet? Tag your friends, let them know that we're here. Well, you know, partly in the news, we heard we lost another link in the chain of music, and he's a legend. He was a legend. Jazz pianist Ramsey Lewis passed away this week. Earlier this week, a couple of days ago. He passed away at the age of 87 years old. And Ramsey Lewis was known for his big hits, a lot of great jazz big hits. And I believe he did the In Crowd. I mean, with the In Crowd, he did that one, you know, which was a cover record that he did from Dobie Gray back in the 60s. But he was a jazz musician and a great jazz musician, and he played with the best of them. As a radio disc jockey, when I was a jazz radio disc jockey, I played a lot of his great music. And he had a great album that everybody loved, was called Tequila Mockingbird. Not To Kill a Mockingbird, but Tequila Mockingbird. I remember that. I think I might have my original copy at home as well, with all my jazz collections. But yes, he passed away this week at the age of 87. So we want to send our condolences out to him his family, all of his colleagues, all of the people that he worked with over the years, who he made great music with. I never had the pleasure of meeting him, just playing his music. A lot of people think because you're a radio disc jockey and you play these people, all of these people, they great music, that you know them personally. Some we do know personally, some we don't. It's just like actors. They don't know every actor. You would think they do, except for if they work with them, but there are certain actors that don't know other actors. So everybody in this business, if you're checking us, only know this, that we don't know everyone just because we're in the business, that we don't know everyone, or we haven't met it. There's a lot of people I haven't met. And so there it is. But I never had the pleasure of ever meeting Ramsey Lewis. But he left a legacy of great music, and it's here to stay. It'll be here forever, long after we're all gone. It will be here. So thank you guys. Listen, our condolences out. It's been all over social media. You've heard about it, but you know, of course, we're only a weekly show here, and we get that information early, but we don't get to tell it to you until we come on the air. But it's just like, we're just the show that reminds you of certain things. So this is a reminder here. And but it's good to know that we broadcast announced the very first day of Hispanic Heritage Month. So that's it. So our condolences again to the Ramsey family, his wife, all of his children, his friends, colleagues, and the music industry. Our condolences out to all of them. And have you taken the time to get your flu shot? Now, I'd mentioned the flu shot first because this is the flu season now, and they are available. I took mine last Friday. You know, I took mine last Friday, as I said I was going to do, and so I'm finished with that. Now, if you take that shot, I was told this, I researched this, I found out about it, I asked professionals about this. Now, a lot of people who are taking shots are wondering, can they take the COVID shot and the flu shot in one day? Can they do that? Now, a lot of people say, I mean, me personally, I don't think I would do it that way. I think I would wait a while. But it was told to me by a professional in that industry that it's okay. You can take one in one arm and one in the other arm. I was told that. Now, don't go back and say that I said this. I was told this, and I'm just telling you that I was told this. But the best thing to do is follow your heart, follow your mind, and consult with your doctor first. That's the best thing to do. Consult with your doctor first. Don't just go out there and do it because it's they say it's okay. Consult with your doctor first, because all of us are different physically. You know, some people can't even take vaccinations because they're allergic to them, you know, and they have to find other means to combat what's going on right now. And speaking of vaccinations, I understand also the new vaccination for COVID, the one that's going to combat or take control of the variant that we have now, because now as we come along, as we move along now, we see that the cold weather is going to come on, and it's more than likely we'll get another surge. And so this new vaccination, this new COVID vaccination, which is going to take care of this stronger wave that we have now, which is called BA.5. And so when you take this next booster shot, which would hopefully be your third booster shot, if you are taking Pfizer and Moderna. If you're taking this third booster shot, hopefully it's your third, because we want to catch up on all of this. We want to catch up on all of this, and we want to make sure everybody is safe, you know, because mandates are being lifted now here in New York on the subways and the buses. They lift the mandates on wearing masks on the subways and the buses, so people can go around and not wear their mask on the subway and buses. Now, some people, including myself, are not ready for that. So we continue to wear our mask in public when we're in close quarters like that. if you're in a subway, if you're walking through terminals and things like that. I'm still not comfortable of not doing that. I just want to keep things going for a while, and making sure that everything is okay. But as it goes now, it's been lifted. The mandate has been lifted on the buses and subways. So in other words, you don't have to worry about wearing your mask on the buses and subways. You can go there and just take your time. So that's one of the things to do. So if you don't want to wear it, that's okay. But the transit authority, which they used to call them the transit authority. They no longer call them the transit authority. The MTA, okay, and the transit workers, they say, even though it's mandated, they still say that it's recommended for you to do that. It's always recommended. So please continue to wear your mask. Be wise, be smart, and you'll be okay. Let's go over to Charlotte, North Carolina right now, where the weather is finer. It's better than over here. We got chilly temperatures over here. Not chilly temperatures, but it's a little breezy in the air, and then you can tell like it's coming up. But in Charlotte, North Carolina, as we do each week, we bring along Brian Camp with the latest developments in today's world of sports on Sports Update. Brian.
It's perfect weather when it's like this kind of temperature. It's only 73 degrees right here. Went for a nice evening walk, a nice breeze. It's not a cold breeze, it's not a warm breeze. It's just in between, perfect. And this is the time of the year where you could just relax, just relax and kick back and the days are, it gets darker quicker now, so you can expect that. That means it's getting cold. We're reaching cold weather soon. But other than that, it's been a great day weather-wise.
That's how it was here this morning. The weather, it wasn't hot, it wasn't cold. It was just a nice breeze, and I was still wearing a short sleeve shirt, and it was nice. It wasn't cold, but you could feel the breeze. You can tell like it's on its way. You can tell
it's on its way. Yeah, it's the dog days of September, or late August into September. Yeah, and pretty good weather. That school is back and people coming back from vacation, and it's perfect sleeping weather too, I must say. So yeah, so it's great. It's really great. Good evening to you and to everybody out there on Instagram and YouTube and Facebook and wherever that you're tuning in. Greet you good evening. Like I said, it is a beautiful night out here. And let me get to sports. Right now, Thursday night football starting on Prime Video. It's the Kansas City Chiefs against the San Diego Chargers, or the Los Angeles Chargers, excuse me. I gotta make that correction. And they're like doing different things now with football. That's why cable's about to get extinct, because if you don't have a Fire Stick, you're gonna be lost. There's so many things you can watch on a Fire Stick. It's good to watch your local news and to keep a basic account on your cable, which is good. But let me get to sports and some interesting news to a report. In the NBA, Robert Sarver, owner of the NBA's Phoenix Suns. Now, this has been an investigation that's been going on for a while. And he's also the owner of the WNBA, the Women's National Basketball Association. The Phoenix Mercury has been suspended for 1 year. 1 year and fined for $10 million by the NBA as a result of an investigation into the Suns franchise. The NBA announced the punishment on this past Tuesday, saying that the investigation found out that during his time with the Suns and Mercury, Sarver used the N-word. Are we surprised? No. This is another situation with a previous owner who used to be with the Clippers. His name escapes me, but his franchise he was forced to sell his franchise. They're not doing this here with this one. He's just been suspended. LeBron James has been saying that they didn't go further in this. They should have done more, but apparently he's not. But he used the N-word 5 times when recounting the statement of others. There also were instances where he was like what's the word, incapacitated conduct towards female employees. Now, when women get involved, it's a serious thing. Women hold a lot of weight when it comes to things like this. And they, when it comes to voting and to, to these here things, they carried a lot of weight. So he's being fined, although a lot of the NBA players feel that this is not enough. This is truly not enough, but that's where it is, and that's what's happening right now. So $10 million, 1 year suspension. The NBA also said his team last Friday that it expects to see a significant jump in the salary cap and the tax level in 2023 to the 24 season. Based on current projections, both figures of 134 million of the salary cap, 162 million as the tax level was set. Records on both are $1 million higher than the league's most recent projection made in June. So they're going to increase the salary cap. This sounds like it's good news where players are going to make more money. And this means, I guess, that what's going to happen is that, you could sign players for a higher price and not go over the tax luxury fine. Because, once you go over the salary cap, now you're going to face different obstacles and get fined. In Major League Baseball, it's a baseball story, but it's also a sad story. I know that the people in New York has been following this here. Anthony Varela, a former Major League Baseball who retired back in 2016 to become a police officer in the New York City area, was killed in a car crash last Sunday morning on his way to work at the September 11th memorial ceremony in Manhattan. Now, he was 37. He was an officer for the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey. You got Port Authority that works on both sides of the state. It's only a tunnel that separates two states. He played baseball at St. John's before a 6-year baseball career in the Major League as a relief pitcher for the Seattle Mariners, Atlanta Braves, and the Boston Red Sox. And his funeral, if I'm correct, was today. It was today. And our prayers and thoughts to the family on this here time. And, it's a difficult time. He was on his way to down into Lower Manhattan to work at the memorial, because every year, every September 11th, they do like a memorial setting. So he was on his way to work. So this day in sports, September 15th, 1928, St. Louis Cardinals set a National League record of 18 men left on base, but still beat the Phillies 8-6 at the Baker Bowl. I don't know where the Baker Bowl is, but in 1928, I don't know where that was, but it was an old stadium. 1946, Brooklyn Dodgers beat the Chicago Cubs in 5 innings because the game was called because of what? Gnats. Yeah. They postponed the game because of gnats. Must have been a lot of gnats that was flying around in the stadium. And this was this is September 15th. So
you sure it was snow?
Well, it wasn't snow, but September 15th, you don't think gnats would still be around? I guess the weather was still kind of warm in Chicago or Brooklyn. It doesn't say where the game was called at, but doing those two cities in Brooklyn and Chicago, that's usually kind of chill air. The weather's changed. It's not real hot, but the gnats was there causing them to postpone the game. 1952, the Braves' last game in Boston Braves field before moving to Milwaukee. 1953, boxing's NBA adopts a 10-point must scoring system, means that 10 points to go to the round, to the winner of that round, who has the most jabs or punches, who is more effective in that round, they get 10 points for that round. 1963, the Alou brothers. Remember the Alou brothers? Felipe, Matty, and Jesus appear in the San Francisco Giants outfield for the first time at one time for 1 inning in a was it a 5-3 win over the Pirates. That's amazing. I have all three brothers there, and it was just amazing just to see them there. And it was great. It was really great. And let me see. And we got 1969. The Major League Baseball St. Louis Cardinals, Steve Carlton sets a record by striking out 19 New York Mets in a game. Still a record. Well, it's tied for a record. 1978, LA Dodgers become the first Major League team to draw 3 million fans. That's when you know back then, the Dodgers have historically been a big draw of fans, and they had 3 million fans, and for the first time. 1978, Muhammad Ali beats Leon Spinks in 15 rounds for a heavyweight boxing title. That's when he lost the first one early in the year, and then he came back later on in the year, which is on this day, to regain the title, which he lost to Leon Spinks, but got it back. 1979, Boston Red Sox, Bob Watson is the first player to hit a cycle in both the American League and the National League. He did it with the Red Sox, and now he did it with the Houston Astros. And birthdays, today, 1938, Gaylord Perry, still alive, Major League Baseball pitcher, Cy Young Hall of Famer. In 1972, he won this, was born in Williamston, North Carolina. 1940, Merlin Olsen, NFL player and actor. You probably saw him on Little House on the Prairie, was born in Logan, Utah. Utah. 1951, Pete Carroll, NFL and NCAA football coach, was born in San Francisco, California. 1961, Dan Marino, NFL quarterback Hall of Famer, was born in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. 1962, Ernest Biner, National Football League running back, was born in Milledgeville, Georgia. Okay, I hope I said that right. 1966, Sherman Douglas, NBA point guard, was born in Washington, D.C. Ladies and gentlemen, that is sports.
I do remember the Alou brothers, Matty, Jesus, and what was the other one's name?
Felipe is the oldest.
Felipe, right.
Then Matty, and then Jesus.
Now, Jesus was the baby, but I remember—
Jesus was the baby, yes.
Jesus Alou, I remember when he used to, every time he got out to bat, he used to always do his neck exercises. He holds the bat and he used to go like that. He used to always do that. Now, a lot of those baseball players have their own style. There was a player called Rocky Colavito. Colavito, his thing was taking the baseball bat in between pitches and putting it back in his neck and stretching it like that. Yeah. But I remember those guys. I remember them well.
Yeah. And speaking of which, of the Alou brothers, I have them live right on my wall.
Oh, yes. There they go.
The Alou brothers.
There they go. They played for separate teams, but you know, it's amazing how three brothers could play in the same industry. Yep. You know, that's one of the things. Not many siblings have that in common.
That's right.
You know, they play in the same industry. They just played in different teams. That's all. And one of them was playing on the Giants, as you saw. Your team, the Giants.
Yes.
We're waiting for the World Series. I know we don't have too much to talk about on that just yet, because the main topic now is football, because that's what's coming in. Everybody's waiting around for that. The Mets are playing right now. I think they're playing Pittsburgh, I believe.
Last time I checked, it was 2-1. The Mets were winning, but the Mets are about to lose their division lead. You know, they're not playing well at all right now.
And you know, that's a bummer. The Yankees are still holding by a thread. You know, they're still holding on there, but I was like really rooting for the Mets to do this. And then we'll see what happens, because October is just right around the corner, just before you blink your eyes, right around the corner.
Yep.
And but again, football is back and everybody's going to be waiting around. And when I think about football, I always think the main thing in football is the Super Bowl, which is it's the most highest revenue play, you know, in sports ever.
That one single event.
Yeah, that one single event each year. And it used to be the World Series, but it's
Used
now.
to be. The great thing about the Super Bowl is that it's one single event. The intermission takes so long because you got these artists that comes on and they just take over, and it's just that's why I don't go to a Super Bowl party. I stay home.
Stay home.
Yeah,
Stay home, because you'll never get a chance to hear the game.
that's right. Yeah.
So I guess we'll catch you back here tomorrow. Does it look like it?
10:05 again.
Okay.
10:05. Yeah.
That sounds good.
Yes.
That sounds good. We look forward to that then.
Okay.
Okay. Have a great evening. We'll see you tomorrow morning.
All right. Take care.
Yeah, that's Brian Camp, ladies and gentlemen, with the latest developments in today's world of sports. Sports Update. He's here every Thursday at this time with that information for you, for all of you people who love sports. And as I said, it's the football thing that everybody's talking about now. Everybody's talking football, but he'll be back here tomorrow. It's usually the 2020 feature, but as you can see, he has to come in a little earlier. So we'll put him on, 5 minutes past the hour as we go through our opening routine, and we'll put Brian on early. DJ Pete won't be here tomorrow as part of the 2020 feature, but he left information, of course. That's nice of him. Mighty nice. Thank you, DJ Pete. He won't be here tomorrow. He's on assignment, but he has sent me information, so I will be DJ Pete tomorrow on the second half of the 2020 feature. That's all right here on the coffee hour. That's the coffee hour tomorrow morning. But right now, you're tuned to Talk Back Live. That's the name of the show right now. We're talking about live, and we're here with you until the top of the hour. And at that time, we're going to go home and we're going to rest up for tomorrow. So we thank you so much for being here. And just in case you're just joining us for the first time, we're here every weekend. If you joined us for the first time at the beginning of the show, I hope so far you like what you're hearing and what's going on. And we want you to come back again and again and tell your friends and your family all about it. Okay. All right. So much for sports. And at this time, ladies and gentlemen, it's time to get along right now and give you what's happening on this day in history. So, shall we dance? Okay, here we go. Back in 1921, on this day in history, WBZ AM radio in Boston, Massachusetts begins radio transmission. On this day in history in 1949, The Lone Ranger, Hi-Ho Silver, premieres on ABC TV. On this day in history in 1957, TV series Bachelor Father with John Forsythe premieres. On this day in history in 1963, a church bombing in Birmingham, Alabama kills 4 African-American girls. On this day in history in 1963, the Beatles headlined the Great Prop Prom. And that was at the Royal Albert Hall in London. The Rolling Stones are one of the opening acts there. On this day in history, 1965, TV series Lost in Space premieres. Back also in 1965, Volt Stax Records released Otis Redding's 3rd studio album, Otis Blue. Otis Redding sings soul in the US. Atlantic Records released it in the UK, frequently ranked on top album list. Back in 1966, US President Lyndon B. Johnson, responding to a sniper attack at the University of Texas in Austin, he writes a letter to the United States Congress urging the enactment of gun control legislation. And back in 1968, Barbra Streisand, A Happening in Central Park premieres on CBS TV. Back in 1970, Decca Records awards Bing Crosby a 2nd platinum disc for selling 300 million records. Back in 1971, the first broadcast of Columbo starring Peter Falk aired on NBC. In 1974, Air Vietnam Flight 727 is hijacked, then crashes while attempting to land with 75 people aboard. Back in 1980, Paul McCartney released his single Temporary Secretary. Back in 1981, US Senate Judiciary Committee unanimously approves Sandra Day, however you want to pronounce it, Sandra Day O'Connor for the US Supreme Court. Back in 1982, the first issue of USA Magazine, that's USA Today magazine, was published by Gannett Company Incorporated. Back in 1983, police officers beat Michael Stewart to death for graffitiing in a New York City subway. Back in 1983, Israel Prime Minister Menachem Begin resigns. Back in 1984, the 9th Toronto International Film Festival, Places in the Heart, directed by Robert Benton, wins the People's Choice Award. Back in 1986, the first broadcast of LA Law was on NBC. In 1993, the single, I'll Do Anything for Love, But I Won't Do That, that was sung by Meatloaf and composed by Jim Steinman, is released, and it goes to be #1 in 28 countries. And back in 1995, Seven, directed by David Fincher, and of course starred Morgan Freeman, Brad Pitt, and Kevin Spacey, premieres in New York City. In 1997, Google.com is registered as domain name. Now I had to say that very slowly because that's a tongue twister, domain name. Okay, the year 2003, let's see, that's ISO Columbia Records released David Bowie's 23rd studio album, Reality. He supports it with with what becomes the first final concert tour. In 2005, Be Without You, that's a single released by Mary J. Blige, Billboard Song of the Year in 2006, Grammy Award, Best R&B Song, Best Female R&B Vocals Performances from 2005. And back in 2014, the year 2014, President Barack Obama announces the US will send 3,000 troops to help combat the spread of the Ebola virus. In 1907, Jack Bailey, American TV host of Queen for a Day. A lot of you may not remember that one. That was a great game show, Queen for a Day. He was born on this day in Hampton, Iowa. He died in 1980. In 1918, comedian Nipsey Russell was born on this day in Atlanta, Georgia. He died 2005. In 1922, actor and director Jackie Cooper. Now you remember Jackie Cooper. Those of you who remember the Our Gang, Little Rascals, well, he was one of the original cast members there, Jackie Cooper, and went on to play in Superman with, I think it was, no, who played Superman at that time? Christopher Reeves. All right, so he played in Superman. Though. Jackie Cooper was born on this day in Los Angeles, California. He died 2011. And you know something, Jackie Cooper, from the time he was a little boy, never changed his looks. Just the older version when he got older. Looked the same. Not all of us can do that. In 1924, cabaret singer and pianist Bobby Short was born on this day in Danville, Illinois. He died in 2005. In 1927, comedian Norm Crosby was born on this day in Boston, Massachusetts. He died in the year 2020. In 1928, jazz alto saxophonist and band leader Julian Cannonball Adderley was born on this day in Tampa, Florida. He died in 1975. And let's see, in 1946, actor Tommy Lee Jones' birthday is today. He was born on this day. And he was born on this day in San Saba, Texas. In 1946, happy birthday, by the way. In 1946, screenwriter and film director Oliver Stone is celebrating his birthday today. He was born on this day in New York City. Happy birthday. Prince Harry was born on this day in 1984 in London, England. He's 38 years old today. Happy birthday to Prince Harry, and our condolences too. We'll talk more about that later. In 1951, actor Peter Sellers weds actress Anne Howell in London, England. In 1957, country singer, country music legend, Patsy Cline. Remember Patsy Cline? She gets married to Linotype operator, Charles Dick in Winchester, England. In 1962, actress Janet Leigh weds Swedish filmmaker and stockbroker Robert Brandt. In 2012, singer Annie Lennox weds Harvard-educated and gynecologist Mitch Besser on a private boat in Thames River in London. And let's see, in 1983, jazz percussionist Willie Bobo dies at the age of 46 from cancer. Guitarist Johnny Ramone died on this day in 2004 at the age of 55 from prostate cancer. He was born October 8th, 1948 in Long Island, New York. And that's this day in history. And if you know anything that's happening in this day in history, by all means, let us know what you know, and we'll put it up there, and we'll convey it to everyone else. And I love reading off each week this day in history, all of those things that happen. So many things happen on this day in history. Hi, everybody. Welcome once again to Talk Back Live. And we are on up until the top of the hour. And if you're just joining us for the first time, of course, we're coming to you live on Facebook, we're on YouTube, and we're live on Instagram. And we want to say howdy to all of you who are watching. And if you want to chime in at any time, you still have a little more time, and we'll see you and we'll acknowledge you right here on the show. And we thank you so much for being along. Now, we mentioned Prince Harry. Happy birthday to him. That's a segue to let you know what's happening in the UK. The body of Queen Elizabeth II was already transported back to Buckingham Palace, where her body is going to lie in state until Monday, when they'll have the actual funeral. Now, people, all day I was watching the news, and people were there, lines that stretched miles and miles and miles away. People waited for up to 9 hours. 9 hours just to say goodbye to the Queen. I've never seen an event like this before in my life, that people camped out. They slept on the street in a line just to make sure that they're going to get there and see the Queen off. But people are still backed up. Some people waited for 4 hours, depending on how many people were there. But I guarantee you, people, it was backed up. The crowd is backed, and even right now, it's backed up. And right now in the UK, it's I would say it's coming up to 2 o'clock in the morning in the UK. It's coming up to 2 o'clock in the morning, and people are still out there waiting online, waiting to see the Queen, to see her off. And so, like I said, her body is going to be there. It's going to be in state for this whole, for the rest of this week, over the weekend, and then Monday morning or Monday, whenever, I can't remember. I don't know if it's going to be morning UK time or afternoon UK time, but everybody's going to get the chance to see it. You can't be there. People travel from all over the world. People travel from New York. I've seen people travel from New York to go there. I had a personal friend. She posted something on Facebook this evening, and she's in London right now, and I didn't know that she was going to go there, but that's the only person I know from New York. Me personally, traveled to New York with a family, and that's how popular that Queen was. They always said, I never knew. You see, I'm not one to camp out anyway. Even when I was a kid in high school and in college, where some people would camp out all night to see their favorite concert, right? I was never one to do that. Not that I wouldn't support them, but I was never one to do that. And if I didn't get in, I just didn't get in. But there are people that will. And people, as you already see, watching TV, you already see that they're there, and they're making sure they want to get in there and pay their last respects. And I don't know if everyone is going to get there just because they're on that line. I don't know if they'll get there, because you got to remember, this is going to go on all week for the rest of the week. We got tomorrow. Tomorrow's Friday. Some places it's Friday now. And it's going right throughout the weekend. All weekend, people are coming from all over. People are just packing their bags, leaving their houses, and want to take a chance to do this. So good luck, good luck. But it's something. It's something. She's the only queen in my lifetime that I've ever known. I've owned Queen Elizabeth II. Was crowned in 1952, I believe, 1952, if I'm not mistaken. 1952, she was crowned. And of course, I was too young to even know that. Didn't know that. I was just too young to know that. But 1952, and she, in my lifetime, was the only queen. So 70 years on the throne. And now we have to pray for our king, for the king of England. That's King Charles II, or it's Charles, I'm sorry, the third. I always say the second, I mispronounce that. It's King Charles III. Okay, so, and he's making his rounds, and, he's keeping his chin up. You can't imagine, and none of you, if you haven't lost a parent, you would never know how that would feel. And people feel differently. He seems to be holding it together, but you never know what's going on behind closed doors. You lose a parent. And of course, obviously, he lost his father last year, as a matter of fact, and his mom, of course, this year. And so you don't know what it's like to lose a parent if you haven't lost one. If your parents are still around with you, I hope they're around for a long time, but you will never know until that happens. You'll never know what it's like. And people grieve differently, just like with the Queen passed away. People grieve, but they grieve differently. Some were like bursting out in tears, some uncontrollable tears, some haven't. But that doesn't mean that they don't feel anything. We all have different feelings, and some are criers, some are just quiet people that want to say anything about it and just go for the flow of it all. But yeah, so Monday, it's going to be the day. And of course, people are going to be watching. It's going to be televised. There's no question about that. All of the shows that you normally watch will be preempted, especially if they're network shows, they'll be preempted. And just so you know, so it's going to be like that. You got to remember, this is a royal event here. And just like when Princess Diana, when she got married to Prince Charles at the time, televised all over the world. It was a big event. It was a big event. So all of these royal things that happened, it was a big event with Harry and Meghan, big event. Now, the thing about this, now, that there's no question about the two brothers. They had their problems just like siblings do. Siblings have problems. You fight, you disagree, and things like that. And they were on the outs with each other, but they were walking side by side through the processions. They were walking side by side. And so, but then that's for now. We don't know what's going to happen later on, but I got to tell you something. It's not a good feeling for families to get together strongly at one point when a family member passes away, and all of a sudden all families get together. It's all, they all lock together, and we got to make sure that our family stays strong and not drift away from each other, because we don't want to lose anymore. We want to be with each other. But then again, after the heat is off and after the fog is cleared, it's back to where it was before. That happens a lot. That happens a lot. So we'll have to see how the royal brothers, the Prince Royal brothers go. Hopefully this will bring them together and bring them together for good. But of course, we're going to learn about that They're going to learn about that. People are going to find out more about that. That's going to all be in the news, because when you're in a position such as a royal position like that, you have no privacy at all. So we'll see. We will see. Okay, it's coming up to 10 minutes to the hour right here on Talkback Live. And of course, this is the show where we get everybody involved. And of course, we like to get involved and say hello. We don't mind at all. We don't mind at all. As a matter of fact, we welcome it. We really do welcome it, because it's one of those things, one of those shows where we get together and we talk a lot, and we just get together and bond. And this is how we bond. And we'll do that tomorrow too on the coffee hour as well. Okay, hey, again, I want to mention that it's the first day of Hispanic Heritage Month. Now, I would imagine there's going to be a lot of things to be done. A lot of things are going to be happening all over the country. And I'm going to see what happens locally in my town, because I want to be part of that. If I can't make a whole day of it, I just want to at least pass through and see what happens. But all of these things happen. The good thing about living in New York, and I've lived here all my life, is that, it's not a boring city at all. I mean, we have our problems. God knows we have our problems. But one thing is for sure, when you want an event, you can get yourself an event. Things happen. People come from all out of town. You have all of these sporting events that come along. We've got Yankee Stadium. We've got Citi Field. And those two stadiums are passed on to the Jets and the Giants when baseball is over. And of course, a lot of, let's say, if you like me, you like wrestling, a lot of the events come because we got other venues too. We got another venue in Brooklyn, which I'm proud to say, called Barclays Center. It's known for when the Brooklyn Nets, when they play there. And of course, basketball will be in full swing pretty soon. And of course, I mean in full swing, not like right now. And of course, football. Football is not really in full swing yet, not in full swing. And everybody's waiting for the baseball season, because once that World Series is done, it's over. We don't think about that anymore until April, when spring training starts again. So, it's always good when we have those transitions coming along with sports. You have a good time with baseball, you say, now, okay, so now we'll dust off and get rid of the cobwebs, and let's go to football. Let's see the football players now, right? Okay. All right. Now, when you talk about football, okay, everyone knows that I'm a Yankee guy. Everybody knows that, right? Okay, football comes along. Now I'm a Minnesota Viking. That's who I am, a Minnesota Viking. Basketball, Los Angeles Lakers. And a lot of people ask me, you're a New Yorker. What? How come you don't go for the Giants or the Jets? Because I like the Minnesota Vikings. Well, how come you don't go for the New York Knicks? Because I like the Los Angeles, the Los Angeles Lakers. But you like the New York Yankees? Of course. Ever since I was a kid, I was a Yankee. There you go. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we have our picks of the week each week, right? On the movies that you like. Now, I only have one this week. I only have one. Now, the reason I do this each week, and the reason why I do it is because I want to be part of your weekend. I want to add on something to your weekend, your bucket list. We call it a bucket list. You want to do everything while you're alive. You should have yourself a bucket list and make sure that you've done everything in that bucket list before you have to go. And I hope you live forever. But I want to add this to your list of things to watch this weekend if you like classic movies. And I only have one, so let's get it out of the way. Here's a good one, Brian. If you're watching, I think you're going to be interested in this one. This is called The Public Enemy, back in 1931. James Cagney, Edward Woods, Jean Harlow, and Joan Blondell. And that's coming on this Saturday at 1 p.m., lunchtime. So you'll be up and at 'em lunchtime. And that's 12 p.m. Eastern. and that's The Public Enemy, James Cagney, Edward Woods, Jean Harlow, and Joan Blondell. And of course, it's a great movie. I love these James Cagney movies. I really love them. So that's the only movie that we have. And so if you don't get a chance to watch it in real time, you could always DVR it. That's the good thing about technology today. We can like record it and watch it at a later time. You can DVR it and watch it at your own convenience. Beautiful, right? We didn't have that long time ago, especially back in the 50s, when we only had black and white TVs with the rabbit ear antennas. That's all we had. And we only had 7 channels. We didn't have the thousands and thousands of channels that you have today. All right. Anyway, you can record it. Now, just because I have that one from Turner Classic Movie, that doesn't mean there's not more. You can go on Turner Classic Movie, of course, when the show is over, and go through the list that they have there. That's the program guide, and just scroll right through it. You might see other movies that you may be interested in. This is just my pick of the week. And there'll be other movies that I'm pretty sure they are. And something else that you would like, you can watch those, you know, write that down and say, okay, I'm going to watch that too. I'll watch Public Enemy and I'll watch this too. And I see this is on, but I can't watch that live. So I'm a DVR it. DVR them all, you know, whatever, you know. And while you're there, you can go on these free movies that you have, movies on demand. They're free movies. You can watch free movies on Movie on Demand. They have a chock full of great movies and you can watch them. And they have different times, like from the 30s and the 40s and the 50s and so forth and so on. And movies that may jog your memory, movies that you haven't seen in a long time, movies that you don't mind watching 1,000 times. You can watch them for another 1,000 times, like Saturday Night Fever, it comes to mind for me. And other movies like that. So you check out Movie on Demand, free movies. Now, if you want to watch some of the latest movies, you could still go on demand and watch the pay-per-view movies. And what does it cost to go to a movie today? I haven't been to one in a long time. And at that time, I think it was like $18. What it's now, and that was a long time ago. So I'm thinking maybe about $20. $19, $20. I don't know. Who's a movie buff? Who goes to the movies on a regular basis? Let me know. And that's not factoring the popcorn, the peanuts, and the Cracker Jacks, you know. And if you're going on a date, oh well, you have to pay the double. All right. So if you don't want to do that, and you know that this movie is on pay-per-view, you could stay home, pop up the popcorn, everything is free, so to speak. And you have the popcorns, you could throw popcorn in the microwave and you can make it family night and pick out your favorite movie. What do they cost? Pay-per-view, $6, $7, something like that. Pay-per-view. You don't even feel it. All you have to do is just click on, they bill you for it. You might not even realize that you paid for it already. So there you have that. Now, if you like some of the networks, of course, you know, if you like Lifetime movies, go to Lifetime and see what's available there. If you're watching sporting events and you don't get to watch it in real time, well, maybe you can go on demand and watch it the following day. For instance, I like wrestling, you know, I like wrestling. So with the wrestling, you know, if I miss an event, which I very rarely do, I'll go on the following day and watch it in full, and in some cases without the commercials, you know, but that's up to them whether they put them in there or not. So there you have it. Okay, so there you have all of that. So let me repeat that movie one more time, and I think you're going to like it. It's called The Public Enemy from 1931. James Cagney, Edward Woods, Jean Harlow, and Joan Blondell, and that's on Saturday at 12 p.m. Eastern. I hope you enjoy it. I think you will. I think you will enjoy it. And I hope you enjoyed tonight's show. We've got to go, but I'll be back tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. And Brian Kemp will be with me. We have our 2020 feature. However, Brian will be in a little earlier in the show for the latest developments in today's world of sports on Sports Update. DJ Pete, 22 the hour, but he won't be here. But he left us his information, his material, And we're going to use that. I will be DJ Pete tomorrow, but it's still coming on. That's tomorrow. And of course, we'll have other things, and it's you and I, and we'll get together and do all of that. Other than that, I will be back here next week, next Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And I hope that you're out there too as well, with more of Talk Back Live. Brian Camp with sports update, the latest developments in today's world of sports. And we'll have all of the other features that we gave you tonight, and all of that will be here. So ladies and gentlemen, in the meantime, I hope you have a wonderful morning, good afternoon, good evening, and a pleasant good night. And I'll see you soon. Take care of yourself.
You've been watching Talk Back Live with your host Frank Allan. The producer is Al Dale, technical assistance Dave Taylor, research by Sandy Pierce, and I'm your announcer Donna Stenke. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time on Talk Back Live.